Okay, hello everyone. Hopefully you guys can hear me fine and also see the screen fine. If anyone is in the chat, can you please confirm, because it's been a while since I have streamed, so I just want to make sure that my voice and also the sim volume is coming through fine. I guess there is no sim volume right now, but let's see, minus, okay. So I'll wait for maybe a minute, post my links and stuff, and then we can start. So what we are going to do today is Rotby is asking how's it going, hope you're well. We are doing well, yep, it's all good. I just haven't been feeling very motivated to record any content, and maybe I'll make a separate video about that. But streaming is fun, it is less exhausting, and I'm hoping that there'll be a few people that join and we can just enjoy without worrying about retention, views and all that. Let me see. Okay, that's it. So plan for today is to take off in our beloved Airfoil Labs Cessna 172. I've been enjoying this airplane a lot. I will say that it is not the most realistic out of the box. You have to turn down the sensitivities a tad bit, but then the way I have it right now, I think I have it dialed in to feel pretty much like the real thing. So the plan today is to go through the whole we'll basically assume that I am just going to this airport the way I would in real world, and we'll go through the whole, checklists and everything, learn a few things on the way, because it's not like I've been through the whole checklist on the 172. So we'll just go through the whole checklist, fly out of KHFY, Greenwood here, and do all the private pilot CHECKRIDE maneuvers that you will usually be asked to do on your CHECKRIDE. I might forget something, but we'll just keep some document open on the side so that we can make sure that we are covering all the maneuvers. Aryan Sim says, hey, what's up guys? I recognize a lot of you from Discord. Honey Bunny says, what's up? So yeah, let's start going through the checklist here. By the way, this airplane is pretty detailed. I don't know if you guys have seen videos about it. I don't think a lot of YouTubers are into covering Airfoil Labs Cessna 172. I've seen one guy who exclusively flies it on live streams, but that's pretty much it. You will not find a lot of videos about the Airfoil Labs 172. So let me show you guys just how detailed this airplane is. So first of all, if you just hover on the left somewhere, it should open up a menu. And then obviously you have like not state saving, but you can just go directly to a state, cold and dark, before start, before taxi and all that. And then here you have your engine status, just like you have in your A2A airplanes, right? You can see the engine actually work. You can also see the spark plug fouling. It's very well done. I love this airplane. And then the best part about it is failure. So if you go here in the failures menu, let me open that up. Oh, I guess it's this one. So I have it set to realistic and it's running, but every single thing can fail on the airplane. Look at how detailed everything is. Like literally everything can fail. In the engine, inside the cylinders, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, just like A2A, right? It's you can call this the A2A of X-plane. But look at that, look at that. All of these things can fail. It also shows how many hours it takes before this can have problems. Lovely. I really love how detailed this airplane is. This is like one of the airplanes that you can actually use to practice for your private pilot. Honey Bunny is asking, bro, is your Atmos preset? Yeah, it's still active. I recommend you use Moza force feedback yoke. Yeah, I definitely need to get the force feedback yoke. I've been sleeping on that for a while now. I was actually waiting for the WinWing products to come in, but I don't know. I might just end up buying Moza because WinWing is getting delayed. But yeah, look at this. All of this can fail, and then you can also, I mean, when we go through the walk around, you will see how detailed everything is. So again, let me go to the left menu. And then you can quick fuel up here. There's a bunch of options here. You can change your avionics, fairings. That's the usual stuff. Nothing crazy there. But yeah, a lot of detail here. A lot of detail. What's this? Oh, so that's the electrical system. So you can watch everything live here. Again, it reminds me of A2A on MSFS. Holy shit. And then also again, like if you just click on this wheel here, it gets to, like, you will get out of the airplane. And then you can basically just use WASD to just walk around, and you can use the mouse to like look around. It's so cool. I love it. Okay, let's get in and let's quickly, there you go. That's the click spot. Let's remove our control lock. And by the way, this book right here will open up a checklist and whatever you call it. It's like a full POH. Okay. So general, you see that's the pilot's operating handbook. You have all the limitations, speeds and stuff. And then you have normal checklist. You have emergency checklist, a bunch of stuff, man. That's amazing. Like really like it. I really like how detailed everything is. So all of this, we are going to stick to the normal checklist and go to pre-flight. So trying to battle whether to follow this or whether to just go by my memory, and let's just follow this, you know, let's just follow this and go through the details because I have some time today. By the way, like the video if you haven't already. Moise is here. What's up, man? Hi. This Cessna is crazy. So is every aircraft in XP just Phoenix level? Aryan Sim says. I feel like, yeah, most of them. Tolis definitely is. I've heard it's even better. And then what's the other one? The FlyJ Sim Q400. Even that one I've heard from real world pilots that it's really good. So yeah, all the study level airplanes are just crazy in X-Plane. Anyway, let's start and I'll keep coming back to chat. Moe says, bro, your joystick got delivered. Which one? The WinWing one? No, not yet. I mean, they haven't released it yet. I was waiting for the WinWing one. I did order Moza once and then I cancelled it. I was like, oh, you know what? I'll just wait. Okay, let's go through the checklist here. Click on our wheel so that we can get out. And pre-flight inspection. So by the way, you can also start checklist here and it will narrate it to you, I think. Let me do that and show you. So you see that? Start checklist. So it will just go to whichever view you need to interact in. So let's say the first one is pitot tube cover remove. So you remove that and then it moves on. Pilot's operating handbook is there. Aero documents. So let me pause this here. So what is this aero documents? I think I made a video about this one. Aero is like an acronym for checking all the documents inside the airplane. If any one of these documents are not present in the airplane, then you cannot fly. Okay, so aero A is for airworthiness certificate. R is for airplane registration. Another R is for radio license if you're flying international or like if you're crossing the border. and then O is your operating hand. You can call it operating handbook, but it's actually your it's the operating limitations. It's not, you don't need to have the whole POH, but you at least need to have the operating limitations in the airplane while you're flying. But most of the times it is in the POH, so pilots just carry the POH. And then W, the arrow W is weight and balance. So weight and balance is not the weight and balance calculations that you did for the airplane when you planned for the flight, but it's the empty weight and balance. So whenever the last annual was done, or whenever the last maintenance was done, the maintenance mechanic would have prepared an empty weight and balance sheet based on how much the airplane weighs, any avionics changes that would have changed the weight and stuff like that. It just have that. So you need to have that. So we'll assume that we checked the aero document. I think there is, let me check if this thing has the registration and stuff. I don't think it does. For something that's this realistic, I would assume that they would have a registration certificate or something here. It's usually either on the right side here or it's on the left side here, along with the POH, at least in my flight school. So we'll assume that aero documents are checked. Airplane weight and balance, we'll also assume that that is checked. That's right here, checked. Then parking brake is set. Let's set that. Control wheel locks are removed. Ignition switch and key is off. Let me, you know what? Let me not do this because it's messing with my views, I think. It's not letting me get out. That's weird. Let me turn it back on again. How do I reset this thing? Let me go look at chat again, bro. Really, I wished I had a PC to play Flight Sim. My dream to have Flight Sim, but my dad. Dude, just wait. I didn't have it for so long. My friend got a PC and not Honey Bunny says, bro, I'm really happy you tried Explain. Yeah, I've been trying Explain on the side for a while now. It's just that I was having fun with it without really streaming or anything. Insert off. It is off, so that's good. Master switch on. Fuel quantity indicators. I think I filled the fuel up maybe like 75%. So I see that, yeah, we have 20 gallons each on each side. So that's good. Avionics master switch on. Avionics cooling fans. You can hear the cooling fans. So that's good. Actually, you know what? Let me turn up the Explain volume because I turned it down quite a bit. And then we'll adjust it if needed. So avionics cooling fans are turning on. So we'll turn off the avionics switches. Static pressure, alternate source is off. That's good. Annunciator panel switch. Test. That's this one right here. All the annunciator lights come on. So that's good. Fly Together saying hello. Hey, what's up? Rod's asking, do you modify the sensitivity with your Yes. On this particular airplane, I have it turned down by 25% because I just felt like that is when it started feeling more realistic, you know. Otherwise, by default, it was just too twitchy and I was not liking it. Man, why am I not able to get out? Did my X camera get enabled? Oh, it did. That's why. Okay. Now I should be able to get out. And also, yeah, remember that if you're flying airfoil labs, you might want to disable X camera just for the walk around part. Okay. So let's see. So, okay, master switch on. All of that is done. So it's just going through the whole flow. Look at that. It's so cool. Also, one thing you'll observe is that On X-plane, you will not have crazy, like, you know, texture quality like you do on MSFS. But it's pretty good. The overall scene will be very convincing. You just won't have the kind of texture quality that you have in MSFS, but that doesn't take away from the overall experience, I would say. Honey Bunny is asking, is Same Tensions AI good? I think it's good, but I feel like Beyond ATC is better value for money, because it's only what, $30 for the base version and then only $50 for the support edition. So even if you get the support edition, it's going to be still a lot cheaper than the Same Tensions. Sorry, Beyond it. Same Tensions. Yeah. Moez is saying, "Wow, tension detail." Yeah, dude. Like, look at this thing. The reflections and stuff. It's so good. The only complaint I have about X-plane airplanes are that the texture work is not that good inside the cockpit, and you'll see that on the tow list as well. Okay, let's see. So I forgot to do the fuel selector valve. We are still only on the second checklist after almost, what, 20 minutes? Yeah, almost 20 minutes of just messing around. We're still on the second checklist. That's okay. We have time today. I hope you guys want to see all of this and not just flying. For real, X-plane texture quality is kind of trash. Yeah, it is trash. It's totally trash. I would agree. I hope they... Your little sister set your YouTube name to Honey Bunny. Okay, fuel selector valves to both. Fuel shut-off valve, I've already checked that. That was off. Flaps extend. I keep forgetting these. Flaps extend. So let's get all the flaps down. And then we'll have pitot heat on. We need to make sure that we don't drain the batteries. Elevator trim is already set to take off. Baggage door. Okay, that's it, I think. So what we're gonna do is turn on all the lights just to make sure that everything works while we're doing the walk around here. And we'll also start removing these tie downs and chokes and everything. Okay, coming in here, checking the flaps, make sure that the flaps locked. Man, the sounds are also amazing. Also checking that the aileron is working correctly and the yoke is moving. Baggage door is closed. Static port is also good. No problems there. Checking, making sure there's no cracks. By the way, this is again just like A2A level of detail, so things can fail. Again, elevators free and correct. Get rid of this tie down. I have heard that you should not wiggle the rudder, because rudder is linked to the front wheel, so you should just leave it alone. Honey Bunny, is this the TCA Boeing throttle quad? Yes, it is. Yeah, quadrant and yoke. I will turn on my camera as we get to the flying part, at least for the vertical stream, guys. And maybe I'll add it also to the horizontal stream on the left. But for now, I'll keep it off. Okay, get rid of this. And then again, checking the flaps. Looks nice and locked. All good here. Let's make sure the lights are working. Yes, they are. Get this tie down out of the way, and also need to drain the fuel. I'm not sure how to do. Okay, there you go. So no water in fuel, otherwise you'd see it here. Usually water and fuel would be at the bottom, but I don't see it. And by the way, on this airplane there's a lot of these drain points, so you can check all of them, but I think in my flight school they had only one. And usually what happens is, since these wings have a dihedral, you can basically check the lowest point on your fuel tank, which is somewhere at the root of the wing. So you can just check that, and that's mostly where the water would be. So you don't need to check all of them, but I'm pretty sure that in checklist it would tell you to check all of them. Darkopedic is here. What's up? I think Explain is much better for study. I agree. Like if you're into practicing for check rides and stuff, I would definitely encourage you to get this Airfoil Labs 172 and just turn down the sensitivities a bit, because out of the box it's not crazy good. And you know what, let's turn this off. I think I remember everything here. In real life I would have just kept the checklist open, but I know that it doesn't look good when you have this thing on. So anyway, you would check these vents too. Make sure that this is not blocked by anything, like maybe a bird's nest or something. And then coming here, everything looks good. By the way, if you click on this, you can basically get on the wing, and you can get on the wing and check for the fuel level, like visibly check for the fuel level like this. That's what you would do. So we know that we had filled up roughly 20 gallons and it shows up somewhere around that 18-19 gallons. So I think we're good there. Close this out, and then again you can just click on this to get down, hopefully, or you can just walk off like this. That's so cool, right? That's amazing. By the way, look at this. You see that texture quality? That's what I hate about Explain, but just if you just don't try to zoom in that much, it's just fine. Swish/easier. What's up, man? Damn, you went to flight school? I didn't know you were yeah, I am. I have a private pilot license, but I stopped there. Okay, oil. 8 quarts. Good enough. We don't need more, but how about this? Let's just fill more in. Let me check one more time. Yeah, I think it's full already, so I don't think it'll add anything more to it. Swish is saying you getting the XP bug? Yeah, man, I am. For now, I bought the Airfoil Labs 172, but hot damn, this thing is so good. I might actually buy the FlyJ Sim Q400, because I feel like that's the next one. I want airplanes that I can, you know, have some hands-on experience on. By the way, you can click on any component and it will show up whether it's good or not, whether it's whether you want to fail it, whether you want to fix it. You'll have some nice details, information about what you clicked on. So I just clicked on the flywheel here. This showed up. It's pretty cool. And then you can make sure everything is good here. In terms of suspension, you make sure you have 4 fingers on there. And Honey Bunny says you need to try Zibo 7. I have the level up 737 actually. That's the one I'm flying, not the Zibo. But I've tried Zibo before. I used to fly Zibo almost exclusively when I was on X-Plane 11, I think. 10 or 11. At some point, P3D, I just lost interest in P3D and I was a full-time X-Plane guy. But then MSFS came around and then I switched to MSFS. So let's get on here and let's also check the fuel. Should be 20 gallons, almost 20 gallons here as well. So we're good there. Let's walk off. Also, I have to say that the default airports are pretty good in X-Plane. Like this is my local airport and it looks amazing. Like this flag is exactly where it should be. The fencing, everything is amazing. Also the fence door is exactly where it should be. This is exactly where it is in real world. So I'm surprised how well these airports are done. I really hope we're not draining the battery too much. I think we should be fine, but we'll check the voltage. Again, just draining the fuel from the left tank. I don't see any water and fuel, so we're good. Okay, that finishes our you would also check this fuel ventilation. There's no you cannot move the stall warning horn, this thing here. You cannot, that's not interactive, But yeah, you would check this fuel vent, and then you would also check the pitot tube, which is right here. Make sure there's no, make sure, you know, it's not blocked or something. Oh, so if you press E, you can also crouch down. That's nice. And then you can get up by just clicking E again. Man, I love this. By the way, this is not this walk around feature is actually native to this airplane. It's not explains walk around, in case you guys are wondering. Okay, so I hope I did not flood. I didn't start the fuel pump, so I think I should be good. One thing that I have really had struggle with is starting this airplane. I know that's funny, but I've had a lot of struggle with just starting this airplane. So we'll see how it goes today, but just remember that I'm not a pro at starting this airplane. So pre-flight inspection, we'll say that we checked all of it. By the way, you check tires and stuff, I'm sure you guys know. Before starting the engine, pre-flight inspection is done. Moise is asking, you have Tolis A320? I do not. Gosh man, it's so expensive. It's like $90, $95. Crazy. Yeah, it's very expensive. Explain max settings. Yes, it is explained fully maxed out. Like here are my settings actually, if you want to see. So almost everything is maxed out. I guess rendering distance is not, because I feel like this is good enough. And also MSAA anti-aliasing is not. Maybe I can try pushing that. Let's see if it looks any better. Yeah, I just don't like that the performance drop is huge when you go from 4x to 8x. So I like just keeping it here. It's a good balance. Okay, passenger briefing complete. You guys know what we are doing. Seatbelts adjust and lock. We'll assume that's good. Circuit breakers, check all in. All of them are in. Electrical equipment is all off. Avionics master is off. Fuel selector to both. Shut off valve. Wait. Is shut off valve pull off? Okay. Push on. Okay. Shut off valve is on. Before start, engine checklist complete. We are going to start engine with the battery. So let's just go and start it here with the battery. And now I can enable my X camera, which if I just press 1, it's going to get enabled. Swish is saying Tolis has a great flight model, but everything else Phoenix is better right now. Okay. I have heard a lot of good things about Tolis, but I haven't really flown. Okay, throttle open, 1/4 inch. Let me, brakes are on, so that's good. Throttle open 1/4 inch, mixture control idle cutoff, prop clear, master switch on, flashing beacon on. I'm trying to follow the checklist because I've had a hard time starting this airplane. Flashing beacons on, auxiliary fuel pump on, and then mixture set to full rich momentarily. Okay, so that's pretty much like priming, because in fuel injected engines you don't have a primer, right? This is just like you turn the fuel pump on. If you push the mixture out, it's going to get the fuel into the cylinders, and hopefully we'll be able to start the airplane. So fuel pump on, momentary, get the mixture in and out. I don't know if that was enough. Set to full rich until stable fuel flow is indicated, usually 3 to 5 seconds, and then set to idle. Oh, okay. So let's do that real quick. So we'll watch the fuel flow here. Usually 3 to 5 seconds. Huh, I don't see anything. Auxiliary fuel pump off. Let me read this carefully here. Mixture set to full rich momentarily. Set to full rich, full forward until stable fuel flow is indicated. Usually 3 to 5 seconds, and then set to idle cutoff. The airplanes that I fly around, like from my flight school, they are usually not fuel injected. They all have this primer. I'm a little bit confused on why this thing is, because I did not see fuel flow. I don't want to over prime it, so maybe the best thing to do right now is just try to start it and see if it works. Let me just get to chat real quick. What's the plane that you're most excited for this year? Let me think. If Majestic releases the Q400, then it'll be probably that one. Otherwise, it's gonna be the 787 from Vertical Sim. Or no, I forget the company's name. Vector, sorry. Phoenix Neos can't come soon enough. Yeah, man, they've been taking their own sweet time, but I'm sure whenever it comes, it'll be amazing. Have you seen the hot start Challenger? Swish is asking. Man, that thing's on a different level. I was actually looking at the product page yesterday, and it seemed so detailed, man. Like you have like your own FBO and stuff. Like it's just next level. Same thing with the Flight Factor 777. It's another level. Anyway, let's start so that our battery doesn't die. So I don't know. Hopefully it starts. So for starting, you would just I'll cut off ignition, switch to start, release when the engine starts. Okay. Mixture, advance smoothly to rich when engine starts. I mean, let's see how that goes. So there can be two reasons of this thing not starting. Man, I'm so bad at this. Like, this airplane is so study level that you have to do things right, and I'm not sure what I'm missing here, because this is not the type of Cessnas that I fly. I think one thing I can think of is maybe let's try to prime it again. Fuel selector is set to both, so let me try like a single tank and see if that works, because I'm sure I did not see the fuel flow come in. So maybe that's what the problem is here. Showcase the Lupo Ultimate Rexat. I can do that, yeah. I like all these. There was one more from, I think, King Leo on our Discord, which is also really good. Looks almost like real. Lupo has done a great job as well. Okay, let's try this again. Let's throttle is cracked, and we'll turn the ignition to off. And then let's turn the fuel pump on, and mixture full rich. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, I wonder if there was just not enough fuel in the cylinder to start. Because it's not cold out here, so that's definitely not our problem. Yeah, let's try starting again. Do I have to leave the fuel pump on? I don't think so. If engine floods, engine has been primed too much, turn off the auxiliary fuel pump, place mixture to idle cutoff, open throttle to full, half to full, crank the engine. When the engine starts, set the mixture to full rich, close throttle promptly. Maybe I'm just not using enough of throttle while starting. Let's see this. Bro. What the heck is this thing? Engine start, set mixture to full rich. Man, what the heck is this thing? I've never had this much trouble starting a single engine airplane. I don't see any failures or anything. So if I go here, engine, right? Everything is okay. Parts all okay here. Okay. Yeah, everything's okay. So I'm sure I'm just doing something wrong. Maybe I'm just not priming it enough. That's what I keep thinking. Let's just prime it enough. You know, maybe leave it for like 10 seconds. Either I'm not priming it enough or I'm priming it too much and the engine is flooded. But then if it's flooded, it should still start with the flooded procedures. Well. Okay, that should be enough. Fuel pump off. And let me change this to both. Fuel shutoff valve is also correct. It is set to on, just pushed in. I'm just gonna put like full throttle and see if it works. Bro, you know what? I give up. I'm just gonna do this real quick before taxi. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. That's very weird, man. If any one of you watching know exactly what I'm doing wrong with these fuel injected Cessnas, let me know. But I have not had a good luck starting this airplane. Maybe I need to watch a video or two about some. Let's see. So oil temperature is good, oil pressure is good, vacuum is in the green, fuel flow. Don't see. I guess see some. Okay. So engine is on magically. Nav lights, we need it. Nav lights are on. Avionics master is on. It was already turned on. And then we're gonna zoom in here to HFY. Flaps retract. Let's get those up. We will not need flaps today for our flight. Start engine with external power before takeoff. Wait, where did all the... Okay, it's just directly going to before takeoff. Oh, it already includes run up. Okay, so that's fair. Let's put this away. And we are actually ready to taxi here. Let's get going. So now I'm gonna turn on my camera as well, and let's take this to the runway, and then we'll do a run up and everything, and then get out of here and start doing all our maneuvers. Get to chat. I think SU5 is supposed to fix cloud turbulence and add weather radar. Is it? I didn't know that. A gamer is saying I'm playing on PS5. I hope Explain comes on PS5 because I don't need that much. Yeah, I doubt when it's broken. Airfoil Labs issue. I fly 172s IRL. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, there is no way it's this difficult to start a 172. We're not doing ATC today, by the way. We are just focusing on flying here. So we'll assume that our instructor is handling comms for us, and we'll just focus on doing maneuvers, because I just want to feel it out, you know. Okay, let's get going. Oh, I thought I said I'm gonna turn on my camera, so let me do that real quick. Hopefully my phone is charged. Yes, it is. Camera, so that you can at least, you guys can see what kind of input is required to fly this airplane, because otherwise without that reference I feel like there's no point. So I'm gonna start Camo Studio here, and we'll get our camera going. Let me read chat. Bro, there's literally no ATC coverage in VATSIM. Yeah, I was gonna do say intentions, but then I decided against it. Anyway, this airport is not in the controlled airspace. Head tracker work? Yes, it does. I'm gonna turn it on as soon as we start taxiing. I'm just getting my camera on so that you guys can see what's going on the yoke as we do all the maneuvers and stuff. Oh damn, it's kind of dark. Okay, much better. Bro, I'm so talkative, dude. I like that. What would I do without you? Just streaming alone without anyone asking questions? That's boring. Okay, much better. Much better. You guys are gonna see it in just a second. Let me get my track IR on. And let's also enable head tracking with X camera here. X camera, toggle, enable track IR. Okay, and then I think I'll have to I'm so bad at standardizing all this. Like I'm always just fumbling on stream. But that's fine. Okay, there you go. And then I'll also turn on the camera, live cam on the live cam on here, and then I'll turn off the setup pic. That should turn on my live cam on the vertical as well. Good deal, finally. Genuine GG says hello. Hey, what's up? Why don't you buy Tobii eye tracker? Because it works. This thing just works. Like, I don't see the need of Tobii eye tracker. Kind of expensive, and as long as this thing is working, I'm good. Okay, let's test the brakes here. Brakes are working fine. Yeah, I hope they fix the airplane start issue. I don't remember seeing it on the streams that I was watching, so I assumed that I was doing something wrong. By the way, we do have some cloud cover today, so I think what we'll do is we'll take off and find a place where there are no clouds. It is VFR weather, so we are technically good to go, but we'll just have to find a spot where there's no coverage to do our maneuvers. So starting off, we are going to do let's see, so we can do a soft field takeoff or a short field takeoff. Thinking which one to do first. I think I'm gonna do a short field takeoff first, and then next one, when we land, we're going to do the soft field. Short field takeoff, basically a takeoff that you execute when you have an obstacle right in front of the runway, or your runway is really short, or both. So that's what we'll do. And by the way, when I'm looking on the left towards chat, this thing is going to just do this, which maybe I can just let me unassign stuff from my joystick here. This should be do nothing. Yeah, if you watch my stream, you're gonna have to sit through all this. Okay, so I'm gonna disable track IR so that I can look at chat. And your cam is working. Yeah, I used to play Explain on my mom's work laptop, and one fine day it died. Bro, Explain 11 was pretty good. I felt like they had fixed all the issues with anti-aliasing and stuff on 11, but maybe not. Because I remember 11 used to look really good compared to at least P3D, but then I guess MSFS came along and you just can't compete with MSFS on visuals. You know what? Wind's coming from this direction, so I went the wrong way. So I'm gonna just go back on 01, because that should be our active runway. But that's good. I was looking at chat and lost track of my taxi. Your biceps are crazy. Bro, you guys, man. When did you see that? Yeah, I do go to the gym. Boeing certified. I did not realize I was flexing. So another tendency that I've seen with Airfoil Labs 172 is that you have to constantly keep giving right rudder even when you're slow just taxiing, which is a little bit unrealistic. I haven't, like in real life, I'd never give this much right rudder while taxiing this slow. It just, like, it takes effort to keep it on the center line in the sim here. Shouldn't be this strong, but we'll take it. Very light winds actually. So what we're gonna do is we'll do a short field takeoff, and then we'll do a full circuit back, land again on 01, and then we'll get out of here and do our maneuvers, so that we just get a feel of the airplane. Make sure that we get a nice rectangular circuit around the airport, and then we'll get out of here. There is a guy on our Discord who is actually like truly jacked. Whoever is on Discord, you guys might know we have like a fitness channel on there, and his name is UGR Draco. He's been flying X-Plane quite a bit too, and this dude is just absolutely jacked. When would you do your next live stream? It's just so hard to say, man. Like, I have a family, and then, but I'll try to, how about this? I think I'll try to do it every Saturday. I'll try. Some of those might get cancelled, but I'll at least try. Okay, so parking brake set, passenger seat backs all good, seat cabin doors closed and locked, flight controls free and correct. We'll check that real quick. Okay, that's good. And then flight instruments are good, heading indicator matches. Our QNH today, oh well, now I know that Columbus Airport is at 656 feet, or sorry, HFY is at 850 feet, so we're just gonna tune it to that. 856, somewhere around like 860 feet, so we'll just tune it to that. Fuel quantity is still good, tanks selector is on both, mixture is set to rich, fuel selector valve recheck on both, engine run up we will do 1800. And by the way, even though your parking brake is on, it can move forward, and that's very realistic. There's 1800. Vacuum gauge is checked in the green. Annunciator panel all good, no annunciators on. And magnetos checked. Let's go ahead and check that. Left, see about a 50 rpm drop, not bad. Again 50 rpm, not bad at all, so there's no fouling. By the way, another way of checking fouling, remember, if you just turn this engine on, you'll see that it shows you the live fouling indicator here. So if you run too lean at low idle, you might run into fouling issues. And altitude, I'm just gonna set it to maybe like 3500, but we'll see how the clouds look like. I think we will be going straight in the 01, like north heading pretty much to do our maneuvers, but let's see. By the way, in the next stream maybe we can go into the more details of like ATC, airspaces and stuff like that. For today we're just flying, having fun. Okay, throttle check idle. Make sure the engine doesn't just die at idle, and then we'll bring it back to say 900 rpm, 1000 rpm. Throttle friction lock, so there's like a friction lock on the throttle, like you can rotate it and make it less or more friction. That's good. Strobe lights on, landing lights on, radio and avionics, everything is good there. Autopilot is off, manual electric trim. Let me make sure my trim works. Okay, it does. Nice. Wing flaps set to take off. So since we are doing a short field takeoff, we'll go for a flap setting of 10, and we'll release the brakes here, get the yoke back in, and let me see if there's anything in the chat. Yeah, I saw his build crazy. Yeah, he's pretty jacked. Whoever doesn't study in our school, only their dads give their How old are you? Let's get this POH out of the way. Okay guys, finally, after how much? After like 54 minutes of messing around, we are finally going to fly. That's how we roll. Honey Bunny is 14, okay. Yeah, it's check final, there's nobody, we don't have traffic today anyway, so. But ideally you would just check final, make sure there's nobody on the runway as well, and then get going. So flaps set to 10 and verified, yes. Ideally on a short field takeoff you would go to like very end of the runway, because you want to make sure that you use every single inch of the runway to take off. Now let me do a quick takeoff briefing here on short field takeoff. And you know what, actually I'm gonna open up my notes, because when I was doing my PPL I would have notes of all the maneuvers. I'm gonna short field takeoffs. There you go. So set flaps to 10, full throttle after lining up on the runway, lift off at rotation speed, which is 55 knots. Climb out at VX, which is your best angle of climb speed, which is 60 knots. And then after clearing the obstacle, which will be somewhere where the runway ends basically, we will switch to VY, which is our best rate of climb speed, which is 73 knots. And then as we verify that the speed is increasing and we are also climbing out at a stable vertical speed, we will get the flaps out as well. So takeoff briefing is done. Honey Bunny says, I was obsessed with aviation since I was 6. Damn, dude. You guys, like, I had no clue what I was doing in my life until I was 18. Anyway, so let's get to full throttle. Get the brakes out. A lot of right rudder right there. That's realistic. And then we will take off at 55. There's 55, and we will climb at 60 knots, which is right about there. Putting in a lot of right rudder there, and my speed just somehow dropped. That should not happen at that kind of angle of climb. Okay, still keeping 60 knots, and we'll assume that obstacle is clear, so we'll start pitching down for speed now. That speed drop was unreal. That's very risky. I should not have done that. Okay, so speed is coming up, 73 knots, flaps up. Rate of climb is good, and now we'll just keep climbing at 73 knots. We are at 500 feet AGL, so we're going to do our crosswind leg here. So keep climbing at 73 and do the crosswind leg. We need to stabilize at 860 feet. Roughly correct, but not by the books for sure. Need to brush up on the skills. Let's go downwind now. Okay, I think we are good on our altitude, so we'll just stabilize here. Again, very sketchy, I would say, on the altitude management, but it's fine. We are trying 800 feet there, and we are on our downwind leg. That's one of the reasons why I did not want to handle ATC today, is because I'm still getting used to this airplane and flying it accurately, and ATC would have just added more workload to my flying, which I did not want today. So I think we are doing good now, 850 feet and maintaining. Maybe I can trim it a bit so that I don't have to hold that down elevator pressure. And that's good. Okay, we are on the numbers, so I can reduce throttle. Don't need carb heat on this airplane, so we're good there. And we'll turn base as soon as we hit somewhere around 45 degrees. And we'll just do a normal landing here just to get a feel of everything, just to get a feel of weather, and then we'll do short field and soft field landings as we come in again after doing the maneuvers. Okay, so turning base now, 500 feet per minute, 85 knots. Trying to fly it like I would in real world as much as I can, obviously. Since it's a sim, you just can't really replicate it always. Let's get flaps down, flaps 1, and we'll be careful that we are not turning anything more than 15 degrees, 15 to 20 degrees on our final turn. Okay, flaps 2. X-plane definitely doesn't look as realistic as MSFS would. Like in MSFS, I've flown around this area, and it looks exactly like real world. Okay, we are a little bit high, but that's totally fine. I'm almost at idle now. We'll maintain 65 knots, which is our approach speed on this, and just keep going. We have a straight headwind, so it shouldn't be a hard landing. And giving it a tad bit more throttle here. Keep it at that 60 to 65 knots speed. And then as we come in over the thresholds, push it to idle. And touchdown. What is that? Minus 26 FPM. Let's go. Okay, so real quick, flaps up. We're going to do a normal takeoff now. So let's just push the throttle to full. Again, it's really hard to keep this on center line, but in real life it's not this hard. Yeah, there we go. 73 knots climb. No freaking way. No freaking way the sim crashed. Oh my fucking god, bro. The sim just crashed, bro. That's so disheartening. So I have another idea now. How about, you guys saw how a circuit looks like on X-Plane. How about we do the same circuit in the A2A Comanche, but on MSFS 2024, so that you guys can just see how different both the sims are. I think that's a good idea. What do you guys think? Do you guys want to go back to X-Plane, or do you want to try out MSFS 2024 but with the same circuit? I think it'll be fun to do like a 1-to-1 compare. Honey Bunny says, imagine this happened in VATS. Controller would be like, where did this guy go? Gosh, man. Anyway, let's just move on. I'm gonna do MSFS, and let's see how it goes. Same circuit, exact same. So we'll compare the visuals, how things look like, and things. Can you also please showcase Lupo preset? The thing is, Lupo preset needs to be tuned according to my monitor, and I just haven't tuned it according to my monitor. So we'll run some reshade, but let's see. I was thinking I'm gonna do like a full, private pilot check ride and shit, but whatever. Let's just make this video a sim comparison instead of flight sim check ride. I think that'll be fun too. And also you guys will get to see how different the A2A handles compared to Airfoil Labs. I still feel like A2A Comanche is the peak in terms of handling. Airfoil Labs 172 is good when you turn down the sensitivities, but I would say it's still a little bit sketchy. It's not as close to the real world, but then when I fly the Comanche, oh man, that thing just handles like a beauty. I love that airplane. Can't wait for them to do a 172, because that's when I'll really be able to compare 1-to-1. As for Comanche, I can't really tell 1-to-1 because I haven't flown a Comanche in real world before. But you can tell, right? It's a single engine airplane, almost similar size, and they have similar kind of speed limitations and things, so you can tell. And I can say that Comanche really feels amazing. Again, we'll do the same thing. Short field takeoff on the start. We'll not take that much time to prep because Comanche is pretty easy to just get going. And I've flown that so much that I just have the flows in my head. So we'll do a short field takeoff and then we'll just do a circuit. See how everything looks. I would say the airports are better in X-Plane, but then the surrounding area is much better in MSFS. So there's HFY. Again, weather is going to be a bit sketchy because it shows that there is clouds, and I'm gonna also turn on active sky for accurate winds and whatnot. So let's see how it goes. I have the weather set to active sky preset control. Let's spawn here and then let's get going. Honey Bunny says yes, MSFS airport markings ruin immersion. It's more about the whole scene. Like, look at this. So we saw and explained, right, that you had all the fencing and everything correct around the airport. But when you look at MSFS, there's no fence, there's no flags, nothing. It's just so dry. I'm gonna turn off my track IR just for a bit until we get to flying. Not sure why I have to keep changing the profile every time Anyway. While we are in walk around mode, we'll just get rid of this wheel chokes and all that. Our oil should be fine. We are not going to do a full walk around because we are just comparing sims now. So maybe, you know what? Maybe we can do a check ride on this instead of X-Plane. And I bet the X-Plane crash was not related to the sim itself. But I think I need to delete reshade from X-Plane because it just, I think X-Plane doesn't need reshade first of all, and I don't think it works right either with X-Plane. So reshade might have caused the crash. I don't know. Anyway, so let's get going on this one at least. Beacon lights on. We'll verify that our fuel switches, well, where is the fuel switch on? Right here. Left and right, all good. Trim is set to neutral. And yeah, let's get the mixture to rich. Prop full. Master switch on. Fuel pump on. Let's check. Make sure the fuel flow is coming in. Fuel pressure is green, so that's good. Now we'll prime the engine. I think 3 primes are good enough for today. Throttle cracked. Get the parking brakes on and let's start the engine. What just happened? What just happened? Like, I literally lost all control. Did my throttle just stop working or something? Yeah, I just literally lost all control. What the heck? I can't believe what's going on today. What is that? How is this? I literally cannot control anything with my throttle quadrant or with my yoke. That's weird, man. Well, you know what? I'm gonna have to reload because I don't know what's going on. What is wrong today? Honey is asking, is 12 standard hard? Because I heard you need good grades to become an airline pilot. I don't think so. You don't really need good grades to become it's nice to have good grades, but I doubt that you need good grades. Yeah, this is annoying. Okay, I finally have, at least I have control. So, and persistence is there. So we basically just loaded in exactly how we left. So that's good. Our engine was already primed, so I'm not gonna prime it again. Let's just try starting it and see if it works. Okay, I don't think it's primed. Let's just get it primed. So fuel pump on, make sure fuel pressure comes up. It did. And then let's turn it off. Let's prime it maybe like 4 times. Unlucky day. Yeah, man. This has never happened. Oh. Ignition to both. Start. There you go. There you go. Let me turn up MSFS volume. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Parking brakes always. Okay, hopefully you guys can hear more of MSFS now. Let's get the nav lights going. Oil pressure is good. Oil temperature will slowly come up. It's one of the taxi lights can come on as well, and avionics can come on. Engine warm up is good, so we'll just bring it back down to like 900 RPM. And this is TDS GTNXI, by the way. Finally guys, finally. Okay, that's good. So we're gonna go ahead and taxi. Let's reset these things, and let's set our QNH to 850 feet, which is our field elevation. So that's good. And let's check the brakes. Brakes are working, so that's good as well. And we're finally good to go. Okay. Track IR is enabled. Let's go. Right off the bat, I can say that this sim feels smoother right now. 100%, but the taxiway light placement and everything is just terrible. Like, look at these lights. If you spawn in at random airports, good luck having like accurate ground markings and lights and all that on MSFS. It's just bad. Okay, let's keep going to the run-up area. Grass looks better on this sim for sure. Photogrammetry not so good. Look at that, melting buildings. Mobile flight sims? No way, man. What the heck? Mobile flight sims are trash. Are you talking about this infinite flight or something? So we'll have to remember maneuvering speed is 129 mph. It's right there in front of you, but that's where you would do all your maneuvers. We're taxiing like a Southwest here. You're saying they're not that bad? Tell me one more. I'll try it. Just tell me which one to try. Yeah, we taxied this thing like we rented it. Okay, What are these lights? They're just randomly placed lights. I wish MSFS also had this community airplane updates kind of thing, like Explain does. I think that's good enough into the wind. Let's just park here and do a run up real quick. Mixture full rich, we'll go 2000 RPM. Okay, 2000 RPM. All the engine instruments are good. Left mag, 100 RPM. Right mag, 100 RPM. Let's check the carb heat. Carb heat is working. Cycle the prop. Cycle the prop, bring it down to 1800 and see if it's stable there. Okay, 1800 stable, prop full again, and throttle to idle. Hopefully the engine doesn't die. And it did not die. Let's bring it back up to 8900. Landing lights on, strobe lights on, fuel pump on. Pitot heat is not needed. Good to go. Check chat one more time. Aerofly FS. I've heard about that one. I'm talking about Aerofly FS Global. It's pretty good. I agree. Infinite Flight is trash. Okay. I'm not. Maybe I can download. Is it free? Aerofly. Yeah. Finals clear. So short field takeoff. You go flaps 1. And our takeoff speed will still be 85 knots, but we'll be climbing at 85 as well until we hit 50 feet, like until we clear the obstacle, and then we'll switch to 105, 103 or 107, whatever the VY is. Let's bug our heading so that we know. Holy shit, this thing is like totally wrong. Totally wrong. You can see how off it is from magnetic. Gosh. Okay, that's better. And let's get our heading bug. Heading bugged out to the runway heading. That's good. Okay. And let's get out of here. You get that voltage warning because the RPM was too low. Now, ideally, I should not be rolling on short field takeoffs, but it's fine. So this airplane feels a lot better when it comes to ground handling and like the amount of right rudder that you need. It feels a lot more closer to real life compared to the Airfoil Labs 172. So there's one comparison right there. So pitch up for 85. Holy shit, that's a lot of climb rate. But yeah, this thing is a powerful. Okay, I guess we have our obstacle cleared. So we'll pitch down for VY and positive rate of climb, flaps up. There's VY. As you can see, the sim looks stunning. You just cannot beat MSFS visuals for sure. But in terms of weather, X-Plane is much better. Okay, let's turn base. That baseball ground is kind of my signal. Again, still maintaining 107, 105, somewhere around there. Let's call it 100 knots. Turning base, which will be west heading pretty much. And then how about let's also turn down, sorry, not base, crosswind, my bad. Let's also turn downwind while we are at it. So we are at 850 feet. Let's stabilize here. I'm just getting down the manifold pressure. To make sure that we maintain that altitude here. It's so easy to trim this thing, man. So easy. You can, this is how flying an airplane feels like in real world. Airfoil labs, not that much. You should get real turb cat V2. I'll look into that. I thought MSFS did a decent enough job at like, okay, so we are on the numbers almost. So we'll get, by the way, I did not get the gear up because we are doing a short circuit anyway, and I don't want to deal with the gear horn alarm. Okay, time to go base. It's going to be a nice short base here. And we'll start putting in flaps as well because we are not turning that heavy here. And we'll do a full U-turn. We'll not do a stable base turn here. Just keep coming in. This airplane feels amazing. Honey is asking, do you use FS? I do use FS realistic. Yep, it's enabled. It's just that I leave the effects to a very subtle level. By the way, I overshot the turn. Let's go in with one more notch of flaps. And I think it's an easy adjustment here. We'll be fine. But yeah, this scene here, right here on the approach, is a lot more convincing and looks a lot more realistic than it looked like on X-Plane. Like the houses are accurate. I can see that swimming pool right there. It's very accurate. This is how it looks like in real world around this area. Okay, let's not make really do on Comanche, which is coming in high and fast. High is sorted, fast is not, so you'll have to float out a little bit, but it's not bad. Okay, let's keep going here. Not bad, not bad at all. Let's get the flaps up and let's get going again. Okay, 85 knots. Let's get up, pitch for VY again, 105. This time we'll get the gear up because we are going further out to do our maneuvers. Okay, let's read chat for a bit. Bro, okay, that one I read. Have you seen the Pixar play? Yes, I did. I actually love that movie. It's pretty good. So let's depart the pattern here towards the east. Let's still keep pitching for VY, which is 105, 107. And then it's really easy to fly around here and like finding directions and stuff because you just fly along the roads and you'll be in the right direction. For example, east, you'll see that we are pretty much parallel to the roads here. North is this way, parallel to the roads. We are going to have to get above these clouds to do the maneuvers though, because I really don't want to do it this low. 2500, nope. So we'll get above these clouds, and then since we are 1000 feet, let's turn off the fuel pump. Let's get our props down to like 2400 or something, and also our manifold pressure down to 23, just so that we are not aging the engine too fast. Honey Bunny says same, the first movie was actually fire. Yeah, I really like those movies. Now I'm pitching too high. Hard to fly and read the chat. I guess we have a nice window here between all these clouds to do our maneuvers. Maybe we are at, what is it, 3500? Atmosphere looks really good. Yeah, it does. I haven't even turned on Atmos. Let me get Atmos on, because I'm sure with Atmos it'll look even better. Let's get Atmos fired up. Okay, let's get to 4500. I guess that'll be a good altitude, and we have a nice playground here between all these clouds to do our final maneuvers. I don't think trades are legal, dude. I don't think you can trade. Okay, let's get to 4500. Almost there, almost there. And then the first maneuver that we'll do is slow flight. So we'll take the plane to somewhere around 75 knots, clean. So let's face east, and let's also get the airplane trimmed out for 4500 here. That's good enough altitude, and just trimming down here a tad bit. It's actually harder to trim with this yoke button, but if you just trim it with the wheel that I have on Bravo Quadrant, then it's fine. Terrain looks nice. Yeah, it does. No map enhancement here. I'm climbing while I talk. Okay, I'll get back to 4500 and let's do slow flight. So slow flight is a pretty easy maneuver actually. You reduce throttle, you maintain your attitude, and you reach the slow flight assigned speed. So your instructor will tell you that, hey, can you slow down to whatever. On a Cessna it'll be like 55 knots. On this one it'll be 70 miles an hour. So right above the stall speed. Clean stall speed I guess is 70. But we're going to get into this cloud. I don't like that. So let's just turn a tad bit. And now we are at 1400. Sorry, 4500. So let's maintain that and let's get the throttle out. By the way, when you get the throttle down, it's always better to get your carb heat on. Okay, so we'll do that, and then we will start slowing down. By the way, that's your gear horn, so we'll ignore the gear horn. We don't need to care about that. And then you start trimming, and then start adding throttle just a tad bit as you keep getting slower, because you don't want to keep descending, and you keep maintaining your easterly heading. Again, just keep getting slower. Our goal is to get to 70 knots clean while being within plus minus 10 degrees of east and while being within plus minus 150 feet of 4,500. So we are going pretty slow right now, but still at around 80 knots. The goal is to like fully trim the airplane that slow. So now close to 75, I would say. I think that's good. And then while we're at this, we'll do a slow flight turn, which will be another check that you would have to do in real world. Okay, so we are getting really close to that stall speed. So let's add a little bit of throttle and let's stay away from the stall as much as we could. Okay, and then we'll do a slow flight turn to the left. And remember, in slow flight turns, you should never turn more than 10 degrees. That's your limit, because you are very close to the stall speed, and if you turn at a very high angle, there is a risk of just stalling. Okay, so whenever your instructor or DPE tells you to do a slow flight turn, make sure that you stay within that 10 degrees turning radius, or well, angle. Still doing good on altitude. Maybe we can push our throttle just a tad bit to gain that 50 feet that we've lost and keep turning towards the ground here. I'll get to chat just in a little bit. I don't want to get distracted from this maneuver. Still doing good on speed. We did gain speed a little bit, but we are still within that. Okay, so that's good. And you see how we lost 100 feet? I should have corrected there, but we'll do that now. I also gained more speed than I should have. So technically, this would be a failed attempt because I gained more speed while turning, and I also lost, well, it was not more than 150 feet, but this would still be called a failed maneuver because I gained some speed, and that speed gain was more than 10 knots, 10 or 15 knots. I think for private pilot it's 15. I forget what it is, 10 or 15. But yeah, we're back again at the speed that we started at, so we're good there. Now recovery, you would basically push the carb heat in so that you get access to that full power, and then start pushing in the throttle again, and make sure that you are careful about the trim, because remember we had put in a lot of up trim there to get to this attitude. So now you'll have to start down trimming. And again, don't climb too much while you're recovering from it, and if you are, at least correct so that the DP notices that you're not just going off and not correcting the mistakes that you're making. So again, within 50 feet, pretty good, decent recovery, I would say, but we did blow up the speed. So let's climb to maybe 5,500, because I feel like we are right on the cloud cover level, and then I'll also get to chat while we climb. Moise is saying, after completing my MBBS and save some money, I'm aiming to be private pilot as well. May God please help. Oh, you will do that, man. Private pilot is easier than people think, but I feel like, so just getting a license is easier than most people think, but staying vigilant and current is the tough part, because most people get complacent after they get the license, and that's why I don't fly well at all right now in real world, because I'm not current, and I would not want to just get into a, technically I can fly solo, right? But there's no point of risking your life when you're not current. So if I were to fly in real world, I would at least spend 2 hours with a flight instructor on a 172 before I go solo, and I would at least fly 2 to 3 hours solo before I take anyone else with me. So we are at 5500. I still see some cloud cover at this level, but I think we'll be fine. So how about this? We can try doing a stall now. Before I do a stall, read a couple of chat. Can you try Aerofly? Yeah, we'll do that. Nice info. It's a PC version, so it's like MSFS. Huh, interesting. I think I've seen a video. I've heard that the terrain was pretty good on Aerofly. I saw a video of Innsbruck. Okay, 5500 almost. Let's try doing a stall. I will say that it's much harder to do maneuvers in flight sim than it is in real world. It's not this hard to maintain your altitude and your speeds and stuff in real world. So we're going to do a stall here. And we're not turning on carb heat because we need all the power we can to recover. Yeah, it's definitely easier in real world to maintain the heading, to do all these things. Stall warning horn is there. There's the buffeting, and there's the nose drop. So there's one thing about flight sims and stalls, is that you will almost always drop a wing. Now Comanche does this really well, where you saw, right? You saw that we did not drop a wing. So I really like what Comanche has done. But usually, if you fly Airfoil Labs or if you fly any default airplane and if you do a stall, you will almost never see this behavior of nose drop. It will almost always just stall the wing, which in the direction that you're not coordinated in, even a little bit, it'll just stall the wing. This is not realistic at all. Let's do another one here. This is again just maintaining the heading, maintaining the altitude. You don't want to be climbing or descending while you're doing the stall. There's the buffeting and there's the nose drop. I mean, so on this one I intentionally dropped the nose actually. It would have stalled the wing, but I didn't want to do that. Okay, let's get turn back towards where we don't have clouds. We are an engineer. Moise is asking which engineering field is best, aeronautical or aerospace. Asking for my. So here's the thing. First of all, whether you do aeronautical or aerospace, you're going to pretty much have the same subjects. It's all about just the naming convention, to be honest. Like I have my bachelor's in aeronautical, at least that's what the degree was called, but then I have my master's in aerospace. And my master's pretty much had the advanced subjects, that advanced versions of the subject that I took in my bachelor's. Like for example, computational fluid dynamics and propulsion, you'll have gas dynamics, stuff like that. So it's not very different. But overall, I would say, so where is your brother going? Is he coming to the US or is he just doing it there? Because one thing I'll say about aeronautics and aerospace is that the job prospect is not that good. So I would say maybe you should do mechanical and take some of these aeronautical subjects as your electives. I think that's a much better idea than committing fully to aerospace or aeronautical. Because when I was doing my master's in aerospace, I had a very hard time finding a job. So what I did in the end was, during my last semester, I just changed it to mechanical. So all my subjects were aerospace subjects. So computational fluid dynamics, gas dynamics. I did like boundary layers and advanced CFD, thermodynamics, all that kind of stuff. But then in the end, I just switched to mechanical. So I took a couple of subjects like controls and I forget what the other one was, but basically any subject that was required for me to switch to mechanical, I did that, and then I just switched, because on your resume, mechanical engineering looks better than aerospace, especially if you are an international student in US. Now, if you're not an international student, if you're in your own country, then maybe it's fine to do aerospace or aeronautical, and you'll still probably end up with a job. But that's just something to be careful about when you're choosing your degree, that yes, you will have passion for something, but think about what will make you money in the long run as well. Because trust me, you'll thank yourself for choosing the right thing that makes you money. Honey Bunny is asking, are you from India? Yes, I am from India, but I'm in the US right now. So I did my bachelor's in India in Manipal, and then master's here in the US. So we are just doing a nice stable turn here. I'm trying to get used to the 30 degree turns without descending too much, and then maybe we'll do a 40 degree. I'm trying to get to 5,000 so that it's easier to track altitude. Hopefully I get into a pilot academy, maybe for Ryanair or EasyJet or something. Huh, nice. I think Indigo has their own academy, if I'm not wrong. Mohit says, thank you, I'm from Pakistan. Like, he passed the Pakistan top engineering entrance test, so they're wondering, okay, yeah, if it's in your home country, then I would say go for aerospace. You will not have a lot of difference in subjects, but in aerospace you will have subjects like space dynamics, which is a very interesting one. It's a tough one, but it's an interesting one. So I would say go for aerospace, because there's nothing that will be there in aerospace that will not be there in aeronautical, from what I know. But in aerospace you'll have these subjects like space dynamics, which will teach you quite a bit. I have very faded memories about that subject because it was very difficult. For aeronautical, you might have some kind of aviation related subjects. Honey Bunny is asking, how much % do you need in 12 to become an airline? I have no clue, bro. I did not even know that you need a specific grade to become a pilot. I thought you can just start your training when you're 18. Yeah, like I said, it's better to choose aeronautical and then just mechanical, and then just pick some aero subjects to fulfill your passion, because that way your degree will stay wide enough so that you're not limited by you're not limited from a jobs prospect, but then you're also getting your passion fulfilled by choosing some electives. Personally, I feel like that's a better way to go, because let me explain more about this. So when we are young, right, and by the way, I'm not focusing on flying, I'm just talking. How about this? Let's just maybe set our direct to something. I want to go direct to Nearest airport. Let's see which one do we have. Let's do Shelbyville. Activate. Just so that we know where we are going roughly. Okay, so here's the thing. When you're young, you have a lot of passions. You're like, oh, I want to become a pilot, this, that. Eventually, when you grow up, maybe like 22 or something, 23, 24, you'll realize that money is important. And then you will thank yourself for choosing something that is actually making you money. So follow your passion, but in the back of your head, just keep that in mind, that I also want to choose something that will actually make me money and that will not limit my job prospects. So that's what I think you should do. Because eventually you will get tired of your passion, and money, I promise you, you'll never get tired of money. The more money you have, the better. Money can solve every single problem except your health. That's something money will never solve. For that, you have to go to the gym every day. I'm becoming like a life coach more than a freaking flight simmer. So we're heading to Shelbyville now, and what's the weather at Shelbyville? Maybe I can get the charts app so that I can pull weather easily here. Shelbyville is actually right here. Aryan Sim, let's just fly around, and Aryan Sim says, yeah, spot on. That's why I'm doing computer science at university as a backup. So getting that done to a strong degree and then applying to you are very smart, dude. That's what you should do. That's exactly what you should do. Moise says he's just 18 years old, want to this and that. And now he's also on a stream listening to you. Nice. Yeah, it's better to, like, when I was 18 years old, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go to Air Force, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna give my SSB, I'm gonna be a pilot. You just want everything, and then slowly you realize that, damn, dude, let's just make money. Going to have to do some 360s here. We are at a good landing gear deployment speed, so I'm just going to get it down. And let me also tune myself in. Oh, interesting. I don't have Navigraph on. Sorry, Simlink on. So Indy's right here. Shelbyville. Where's Shelbyville? Metal. Richmond. Shelbyville. There you go. 1 to 1.55. Let's listen to the ATIS. 1 to 1.55. If at all it turns on. Nope. Okay. There's one good way of knowing what the winds are. There you go. 5 knots. Okay, so we are landing on this runway, which is 01. It makes sense. That's where we took off from. Is this the same graphics from Lukla landing? Yes, I didn't change anything. Do you guys, another thing I'll say, that's the life coach speaking. Try to start investing as soon as possible. Like, even if you're making, let's say you made just $100 this week, help yourself and save maybe like 30 or 40 or whatever you can from it, and just invest. What do you invest in? There's a ton of shit to invest in, dude. Just invest in, if you don't know much about stock markets, just invest in something that's called S&P 500, just to start with. I promise you, when you're 30 years old, you will thank yourself and me. Aryan Sim says, yeah man, I was 18. I didn't even want to go to the university, just go straight to flight school. I have to thank my parents. Yeah dude, I was so stupid. I really wanted to just settle for a mediocre full-time conversion that I had from an internship. It was not at a bad company, but the pay, I would say, was like a tenth of what I make right now. Imagine I would have settled for that if it wasn't for my parents who forced me to go to the US and do my masters and get a job here. And now I make like 10 times more than what I would have. Maybe even more actually, not even 10. By the way, not going by procedures at all. I'm focusing more on talking, so. Okay, let's idle out and let's land this thing. Wave. Oh, you know what? I'm just gonna go around. I don't know why I have this habit of coming in so fast on these airplanes. Just gonna go around. Moe says I'm investing in crypto, like I bought some Ethereum, give us investing at, investing ideas? Sure. So right now, I am very big on AMD. AMD is a company that is going to go through its growth cycle, and you can pull out the chart and see what's going on with AMD. How about this? Let me show you guys. Let me show you guys what's going on with AMD. How about this? Let's open up Yahoo Finance. I think that should have whatever I need to show you guys what's going on. Let's open up Yahoo Finance. Let's open up AMD. We're going off topic here, but this is important because you guys are young. You guys are young, and if you do this right, you will be able to buy AB9s, Winwings, all kinds of stuff when you grow up, sooner than you think. So here's what's going on with AMD, okay? So one of the things that you look at, if you look at like a very basic level, you should, let's look at the stock first of all. So in the last 1 year, okay? In the last 1 year, this stock was, if you look May 2025, this stock was at $95, okay? Look at where this thing is at right now, $354. So if you would have invested in AMD at 97, you would have more than tripled your money in the last 1 year. Can you imagine that? 1 year, you would have more than tripled your money. And I invested exactly somewhere around this time. I think I started investing when it was $80, but then I kept adding as it dropped. And sometime here it dropped again, and it had its hill here, then again it dropped. I'm not saying that I caught all the drops. Whenever I had money, I just invested, okay? And obviously all of that wasn't in AMD, but I'm just showing you an example that there are companies like this which either are going through the growth cycle, or they're going to go through a growth cycle. And these kind of companies can make you a lot of money. Look at this one, Palantir. I don't know if you guys might have heard about this company or not, at least in news or something. Palantir, last 5 years, this stock was somewhere around $16, okay? $16. This thing is $142 right now. and you can calculate how many times the money has multiplied if you invested in this. Okay, I missed this one. I don't think I caught this one. And there are a bunch of opportunities in the market, and you don't even have to catch all of them. You just have to catch maybe like 1 or 2 of them. So you can be wrong. You can be wrong like 5-6 times. You can be wrong 9 times. But that one winner is going to surpass every single loser that you have, or every single slow grower that you had. If you choose right, you'll not lose money in the long term. Here's another thing. If you choose right companies, if you choose the right businesses to invest in, you will not ever lose money in the long term. Maybe you can be wrong 1 or 2 times. Maybe the stock will grow slower than you thought it would. But if you invest in good businesses, you will always have positive return. It's all about catching these kind of companies where you get 100, 200, 300, 1000% returns. Which doesn't mean you have to invest in like penny stocks. You have to look at the business. Okay, so that's the general idea. But what you should really study is how to look at financial statements. How to look at these financial statements and predict the future value of a company based on the past trends and based on the future outlook. So that's what you should all be learning in maybe like 10-20% of your time, right? Look at how the revenue is growing on a company. Look at how the gross margins are growing. Margin is basically, whatever they're making minus whatever they're spending, in simple terms. Learn about price to earnings ratio, right? Learn about options, all of this stuff. Like there's so much to learn. But I'm not trying to overwhelm you. I'm just saying that if you start somewhere, it's actually simpler than you think. And if you want me to tell you what YouTubers to watch for all this kind of stuff, I would say, let me pull up this guy, Jeremy This guy is pretty smart. Jeremy Lefebvre, whatever his last name is, I can't even pronounce it. But this guy is really smart. He's a long-term investor. He doesn't trade on a daily basis or anything. And this guy, very smart guy. He uploads almost every day. Not almost. He pretty much uploads every day. And I think the knowledge that he shares about valuing a company, how to predict the future value of a stock, things like that, he will go over tips and bit of that in like every video. And he'll also show his portfolio, what he's investing in, why he's investing in that stock and things like that. Very cool guy. And he's the one who had called out AMD, Palantir, Tesla when Tesla was at the lows. Now he's not invested in Tesla anymore, but you get my point. He does all the analysis. He has this website, 1000xstocks.com, which you can get a membership to, and you can do your own stock analysis there. It has all the data that you'll need to do whatever you need to do to decide whether to buy a stock or not. But yeah, this guy. And then the other one that I would suggest is, so note this one down, Jeremy, and then the other one is Tom Nash. I think this guy is also really smart. Tom Nash, very smart guy. I was just watching his video yesterday. Now, don't go by the titles and thumbnails of these guys. Like they have to use these kind of titles. They have to use these kind of thumbnails for people to click on the video. But then there are some people who are like straight up clickbaiters, versus there are people like these who mask a high CTR thumbnail and title, but then when you click on the video, you are actually getting really valuable information. So Tom Nash and Jeremy, these two are my go-to guys when I'm looking into. Obviously, you shouldn't take what they're saying at face value. You do your own work, look at the financial statements, do your own work. Do you see anything that they missed out on? Are you as confident as they are on some stock? You have to do your own work. But they are a really good starting point to just understand in general how the stock market works and all of these things. And then, like what I'm telling you right now is millionaire making advice. I'm not even joking right now. You guys need to start doing this as soon as you can. This guy is also called Palantir, like long back when it was an $8 stock, and right now it's 142. And you guys might think that, oh, I need a lot of money. I need a lot of money to invest. No, you can literally start from like $5, $10, buy fractional shares. You don't even have to buy a full stock, right? Just buy fractional shares and like you will see how the money compounds, right? You guys heard about compounding? That's how the plot looks like when you compound your money. It just exponentially grows, okay? Because when you let's say you earn like 25% on your first investment, then you again earn 25% on that total. So that just compounds to a very big value, and you will be a millionaire, multimillionaire before you would have imagined yourself to be one. Okay, so that's one thing. Now Moise is saying thanks for giving us this valuable info. Yeah, I feel like this is more important than flight sims. Like flight sim is a hobby that you guys will pursue if you have the money to pursue it, right? So it's very important to build this base. And like anyone who's following me, I love seeing people successful. What else? Except these two are, if I remember anything, I'll obviously put it in that investing Discord channel that we have. But yeah, in terms of stock, I feel like watch this video. I think this video is a really good video. I was just watching yesterday. I'm gonna copy the link in chat here. Really nice video. It just explains how the AI boom is going to work out in general, like from a very high level standpoint, and which companies are playing the most important role in the AI boom. Starting right from like the energy companies that will be very important, because when data centers are built, you need energy, right? And then you need companies that are building data centers. Then you need production and manufacturing companies that are actually building the whole infrastructure and chips, right? And then you need the user side of things, which they will be taking all these AI services and transferring them to the end user, which is us, right? So this whole supply chain, or whatever you call it, of starting right from the energy to the end user, which companies are going to benefit from all of this? It's such valuable information. So he lists all that out on the board and goes over all this. So options is another very powerful tool, but that's a discussion for another day. Options is a really good tool if you learn it right. If you strategize correctly, options is, but just to start with, you don't even need to get into options. Just study the stock market in general. Okay, it's a really nice guy. And then I would say another thing that I would suggest is Warren Buffett. There is a book. The book is called Warren Buffett and the Interpretation of Financial Statements. The Search for the Company with a Durable Competitive Advantage. This is a book that you'd want to read along with watching all these videos, because these videos will give you like example stocks that you can invest in, and like some kind of analysis of those stocks that these guys are interested in. But in the background, you should also read this book to understand all of this yourself and be capable of finding high profit margin, high competitive advantage companies to invest in, right? If you just do these three things, 2 YouTubers and this one book as a starting point, you guys are already set to be millionaires. Like, it's not that difficult. So it's very basic concepts. As long as you learn those, you're good. So yeah, he just goes over all this in this video, the one that I linked. Like, which stocks will be the most important one when it comes to the energy, that's energy industry, which stocks will be most important when solving the operations problems and things like that. But yeah, enough of that. Hope you guys you'll slowly start understanding all this income statement, balance sheet, cash flow, how each of everything is linked, how to analyze them, how to look for if the company really has a competitive advantage or not, all that kind of stuff. Okay. Yahoo Finance free is just good enough. It's pretty good. You don't need to buy any subscriptions or anything. This is good. If you understand all of this, if you understand all the ratios like PE ratio, PS ratios, when to use either of those ratios, you will be good. And it's not that much, trust me. Okay. If you guys have any specific questions, of course, just ask me here or just leave it in chat, or leave it in the investing chat. Iron Sim says, I don't really make much right now, only through summer jobs, but if I had to invest $100 into something, what would it be? If you have access to, so here's the way I think about it. Like, if you have $100, you should not put that $100 in one single thing. Luyan is asking, are you a pilot? Yes. Private pilot who is not current. So I was saying that if you have $100, you should not think about putting all of that $100 in just one stock, one single stock. I'll tell you how to divide it. Put 20% of that in S&P 500. So the top 500 large cap companies in the world. Okay. And then put another 20% in something like AMD, which you know is going to be a very high growth stock. Put 20% into high dividend stock or a high dividend ETF, exchange traded funds, which is something like SPHD. And I'm talking about US markets, but I'm sure you can draw parallels in European market or Indian markets. I don't have a lot of knowledge about Europe and Indian markets because I started investing in the US, so I can only tell you about US markets. But that's how I would divide it. 20% S&P 500, 20% in some really high growth stock, 20% in high dividend, 20% in crypto, and then the last 20% in something that is very something that's speculative, like something that you think is going to absolutely blow up in the coming times. So when you divide your money like this, especially when you're young, when you get old, you're going to put more and more money into safer investments like high dividend portfolios and high stability ETFs. But you should start from something aggressive, like I said, 2020. So most of it is aggressive, right? You're only putting 20% in the low growth S&P 500. Everything else is high growth stuff. But coming back to your question, few stocks that I think are really critical right now would be Bloom Energy. Bloom Energy is one of those. So BE is the ticker symbol for that, and then there's VRT, And basically I'm repeating what Tom Nash said because I agree with him on whatever he said. There's Celsius, there's SoFi, okay, all these stocks like AMD, Celsius, SoFi, Amazon, BE, Bloom Energy, VRT, and then what else? There's, let me see, check my portfolio so I don't forget anything. Yeah, I think that's pretty much, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I mentioned almost everything. Amazon, Celsius, Meta is also a pretty stable stock. If you want something stable, that's a good one. AMD, SoFi, BE, yeah, all of these. But watch that video, he'll tell you more. Aryan Sim says, wow man, I really appreciate it. Don't put all your eggs in one. Yeah, don't put all your eggs in one stock. If you have small capital, that's how I would say you should divide it. Just keep it spread out a little bit. There's a balance, right? You don't diversify too much, because at some point diversity will actually harm your portfolio. So there's always a trade-off between diversity and returns. If you diversify too much, you don't have as many eggs in one basket, so then you cannot make as much money. So you still want to be sure about things that you're investing in. You're just not putting money in some random stuff just for the sake of diversification. But yeah, you should, I would say, in a portfolio that is decent enough diverse, you should have maybe like 5 or 6 stocks that you have fully studied and vetted out that, yeah, this is something that I have verified that is going to perform in the next coming like 5, 10, 20 years. And that's another thing. You should not build your portfolio for the next 1 year or next 2 years. You are investing in companies that are going to make you money in the coming 5, 10, 15, and 20 years. So you always invest for longer term. And I can tell you, you will always beat the guy who is a short-term investor, who is trying to make money for the next 6 months or for the next 2 months or 3 months. There are strategies to do that too, but to start with, I would say just invest for longer term. Invest in companies that are going to 100x, 200x potentially in the long run, in like the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And we can keep talking about this, right? There's so many concepts and so many learnings, but these are just like it's just a general idea of how you should approach investing. Because remember, we are not trading, we are investing. There's a big difference between trading and investing. And I'm not saying one is better than the other. I'm just saying that if you guys are focusing on your studies, building your life, you don't want anything to do with trading, because you don't have time for that. While investing, it is more like a set and forget thing. You just buy something and you just forget about it. Just leave it. That's money that will keep growing for you to use later. I saw Moise is asking, bro, can I invest in US markets from Park? I think you can. Just check in with your banks how to make a US market demat account or something like that. I'm not sure what it's called there, but here it's called just a brokerage account. So check in with your bank or whatever your financial institution is and see if they allow investing in US markets. There should be like a separate account that you can make especially for investing in US markets. And of course you have to deal with the taxation laws and stuff like that, but I'm sure you, like, if you're not, first of all, if you're not selling it, you are not going to be taxed, right? You get taxed only if you sell a stock at a profit. You're just building a portfolio. Big difference, like I said, between trading actively and just smartly building a long-term portfolio. So yeah, this is the kind of stuff that I like doing in my free time, is like studying stocks, finding out companies to invest long term in, learning about all this, watching these videos. I mean, I do watch flight sim videos as well, but flight sim is my hobby. Well, this thing I have to keep doing. Oh, Luyan is on Shorts chat. He's asking, I want to be a pilot. Bro, where do you want to start? I think YouTube Aviation 101 is a great channel to start from. And then from him, I'm sure you'll get exposed to other channels too. Dom flaps. I think I'm doing better than last time. Let's see how it goes. That was a good landing. Decent landing. We might do one more circuit actually. Aryan Sim says, once again, can't thank you enough, bro. Won't forget this. Yes, man, don't forget it. You don't need to thank me, but just don't forget it. And he says, I'm 20, still learning about all this. Yeah, it's a great age. Earlier you start, the better. Okay, here's another concept. Time, always remember this. Time in the market is more important than timing the market. So people who keep waiting on the sideline for the next big crash will always lose, not lose money, but yeah, technically they will lose money because inflation keeps going. So you always want to be invested and be spending time in the market, because that is always more important than timing the next crash, which potentially may or may not even happen. Okay, so just focus on, if I have money right now, I'm going to just invest it, and I know exactly how I'm going to invest it percentage wise in this and that stock. So I'm going to do it. I'm not going to wait for this stock to fall again, or for the market to fall again, or some war to happen. You're not looking for that. You just when you have the money, invest it so that you keep earning dividends, you keep multiplying your money. We're not interested in timing the next crash. We are interested in spending time in the market while being invested. So you guys at 18 years, 14 years, 20 years, you guys are in a great spot. Like amazing spot. If you start investing at 20, you'll be a millionaire by like fucking 30 or 35. If you're putting aside enough, you know. And if you're not putting aside enough, you'll still have a ton of money to play with as you get older. So, and just imagine how much experience you would have under your belt if you start early. How many stock analysis you might have done, and by the time you're like 24 or something, you're earning enough, you'll be in a great spot. And then you'll enjoy, another thing is that you'll enjoy all your hobbies at a lot higher level. Like imagine, you're a flight simmer, you can enjoy the hobby flying with a mouse and a keyboard if you don't have the money to invest in the hardware. But now imagine you took the right decisions while you were young, and now you have enough money to actually invest in your hobbies and have more fun with your hobbies. So that's you have to remember that you have to do it for yourself, for your future self, so that your future self can enjoy the hobbies that that you were interested in at a much higher level. You think that's enough of a downwind leg? I think it is. Let's try to not overshoot the turn this time, or well, undershoot. I'm gonna take a little bit of an aggressive turn in for final. Let's go flaps 1. Should not go beyond 30 degrees actually on final, but I'm way too close on my downwind leg, so I'm still going to overshoot a little bit, I think. Yep. Yeah, I can invest through international brokerage account with 30% tax, and you don't have to worry about tax because you're not going to be selling anything. You're just building a portfolio. And also long-term tax and short-term gains tax, they're taxed differently. So if you hold a stock more than 1 year, you'll be taxed a lot less than if you hold the stock for, and this is a no flap landing, than if you hold a stock for, let's say, 1 day or 2 days. So on a no flap landing, you just just hold it. There you go. Nice. I'm gonna do one more here because I'm having fun flying this airplane. Okay, back to 85. Aryan Sim says, I'm gonna have to sign off now, but bro, got a future pilots meeting to attend, but we'll tune in again later. Yep, thanks a lot for tuning in, dude. Hope you had fun and have a great day. Moise says, thank you for tuning in. Yeah, I mean, I have nothing to gain from this, but if I can build like 2 or 3 millionaires from this stream, that's a win. Moise is asking, bro, you come to the US in which year? I think 2016. How did you do bachelor? Get scholarship? Well, I didn't really get a scholarship in the US. I had to, like, my parents had to pay for the college in US. But then after coming to US, I got a job here as a teaching assistant. I think it was in the second sem or something. And after that, I did not have to ask for money because it was enough to pay for the fees. So it worked out that way. But I did not get a scholarship. So I just applied while I was doing my internship in the final year. I just applied for as many colleges as possible and then ended up in one of them without a scholarship, but I was hoping that I'll just go there and I'll get a job or something, which I did. I got a teaching assistant job. Actually, I started as a research assistant somewhere and then I got a TA job, which paid enough. I think it was like $1,500 or something per month, which is pretty good actually if you're just trying to cover fees. And then we used to stay like two or three friends together, so that we don't spend a ton on rent. because rent will really kill your income. So try to minimize rent as much as possible if you're trying to save money. Just stay with your friends and don't be this guy who is like, oh, I only like to stay alone, because then you'll waste a lot of money. Rent is like just throwing money out the door or window. Okay, much better on speed this time. I like it. I might have to dip out after this one landing, but let's at least do this one right. Technically I should come in at 90 miles per hour, but I always come in fast and then I just idle and float it out. It's fine. Oh, whoa, 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 what was that? That was a bounce. Okay, I think we're gonna park it here and then just get to chat maybe for like 5 minutes or so and dip out. Moise says, like, I'm preparing side by side for the US medical licensing exam to come to the US. That's good. I think for higher education, US is great. Yeah, you too, bro. Aryan Sim says, once again, can't thank you enough. Crazy to think it's some flight simmer on YouTube has helped me. Yeah. I can probably make a finance channel. How much? Oh yeah, for sure. We can meet in person if any of you guys ever come to the US. It'll be fun to just have some nice pizza dinner and chill out, talk about life and stocks. I'm gonna have to just go to this. Okay, yeah, we have a taxiway here. I always forget that Shelbyville has this taxiway at the end. I keep feeling like I have to go. So I'm gonna take a left from here after I turn and then just park it there, because if I go all the way I'll have to taxi quite a bit. So let's just park it here on the grass. What a fun stream. Even though we had some problems initially, it was not bad. Strobe lights off, fuel pump is already off, should been turned on, but it's okay. Let's get the trim set to neutral, and then shutdown checks, parking brakes set, radios and transponders, avionics off, landing lights off, rotating beacons off, nav lights off, and then there's nav lights, and then there's master switch off, throttle closed, and make sure idle cut off, magnetos off, control wheel locks, we'll get that in, and then we will also get out of the airplane and tie it down, and then read more chat. So run around. Gosh, look at this sim. It looks so good. I'm gonna remove this. Look at that. Did we collect a bunch of bugs? I think we did. There you go. We'll wash it next time. There you go. All of that is good. Let's get a nice view and then That was a decent flight. Although X-plane crashed, I still had fun. So Moise says, I have like no friends in real life, just few online. No, dude, I'm exactly like that. I have like two, maybe like three, but really good friends. Like the 3 friends that I have are so close to me that I don't like having a lot of friends. I just like having really good 3 or 4 friends. Moe says, no one here to give me these ideas. Virtual friends are great. Yeah, man, I've learned so much from virtual friends. I've learned actually the whole investing and all that stuff was from one of my virtual friends who I actually met through a flight sim Facebook group. So it's crazy how much knowledge transfer happens on Discord and Facebook and all these social media websites through weird hobbies like flight simming. People just meet through these hobbies and then they talk about a lot of other things that totally change lives. So yeah. Anyway, I'll see you guys on Discord or on the next live stream. I know this was a long one, and I think I might have to change the title as well, because it's not Real Pilot versus Flight Sim Check Ride. We pretty much did not do a whole Flight Sim Check Ride because we veered off in different directions and topics and whatnot, but it was fun. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys on the next one or on Discord. And also thanks to everyone for keeping the chat busy. Moise, Aryan Sam, who else was there? We had Swish, we had Honey Bunny. Thank you guys, and hope that was helpful.